So good afternoon everybody, and welcome to my demonstration step-by-step tutorial today, which is going to be how to make a garden flower crown or a foliage flower crown. So basically it's all materials from your own garden, and all you need sundry wise is 20 gauge wires. So the 20 gauge are the heavier wires. You won't need all of these, by the way, but they're the bundles that we sell at the school, so there's loads in the bundle. You'll need silver wires. So the silver wires are kind of more for bridal work, buttonholes, corsage work, maybe something that you haven't got at home yourself. A roll of gutter tape. So a roll of gutter tape will tape up about 100 wires if I was taping them. I understand like you mightn't stretch the tape as much, so you might only get about 70 wires out of it, but you'll probably get about 10 flower crowns made out of the one roll of gutter tape. So you need gutter tape, 20 gauge wires, silver wires, and you need some florist ribbon. You could use fabric ribbon if you happen to have it, but any colour florist ribbon. Doesn't have to be green florist ribbon. You could, if you were doing it in flowers, you could tone in the ribbons with the colour of your flowers. Or if it was going to be for a wedding, you could tone the ribbons in with the bridesmaids, the bride's colours, etc. So I'm going to start off today as just a foliage flower crown. We're not going to add any flowers into it. But then in a couple of days' time, what I'll do is I'll do another flower crown and I'll add flowers into it, and then just kind of show you like the next step up. So we had great response to this morning's kit. So I went live this morning, I think it was around 10:30, 11 o'clock this morning, and I was advertising a new sundry kit that we're now selling. And it was just because people were contacting me, they were watching the online courses, and they were saying that they hadn't got the sundries, they couldn't kind of practice them at home. And so what I did, and again if you go back to this morning's post, you'll see a picture of the kit, and all the materials I'm using now are already included in the kit. So the 20 gauge wires, your 22 gauge wires, your gutter tape, and there'll be a whole roll of ribbon with 100 meters on it is already included in the kit. And it means then other things that I'll be showing you on the online classes, you'll have the materials there, like the bulb bowls. The amount of people that messaged me about them feckin' bulb bowls. So there's a bulb bowl included in the kit and the frog's leg, but I'm going to stick to the flower crown this afternoon. Now this tutorial, just anybody joining in, this is going to take me less than an hour. Like it's going to take like a long time. It's quite slow, the work. I have a lot of the work kind of prepared, but it is going to be a little bit slower. So hopefully you have a cup of tea. So if you are joining us, let us know. I have Ben here on camera today. Hi Ben. You can't see Ben's face, but maybe he might pop around later on. So Ben is doing camera work today, so hopefully he'll be as good as Deirdre. So Deirdre is at home, so hopefully Deirdre's tuned in. Hi Deirdre, if you're watching. And Deirdre is 4 years over her chemotherapy today, so that just popped up in my memories. I love the Facebook memories for that. It's a great reminder. And just a little bit of news for everybody. Deirdre's going to be 50 on Saturday, so we have to organise an online birthday party for her, so keep that in mind. And I'm also going to have a bit of a giveaway today, a competition. And my giveaway will be some 20 gauge wires, 22 gauge wires, gutter tape and florist ribbon. So I'm going to organise and I'll post that out to somebody today. I'll just have to think of a question for the quiz later on. So Deirdre, Ben can remind me that, won't you, about the quiz. Now if anybody's watching, Ben, keep me posted, like who's watching, if anybody's any questions. Hopefully Ben will follow the questions and he'll keep me up to date and I'll be able to answer them. But if not, don't worry, I'll go on this evening and I'll answer everybody's comments. So comment below there and I'll get back to everybody. And let's get a bit of the weather forecast around the country, because again, I know this morning's we had people from Canada, Australia, the UK, all parts of Ireland, and it was great just to get an update. Now to be honest, like this morning started off gorgeous in Dublin, and then it actually turned a little bit chilly. So it's a bit chilly in Dublin, but the sun is shining. Now just one thing, when you open your kit and you get your roll of gutter tape, there's like a kind of a plastic seal on the outside of it. So the best way, because a lot of you are going to ring me and say you can't find the beginning of it. What I normally do is I slide off the outside. So that's like the outside cover, but you can just see the gutter tape is caught onto there. See, it's like sellotape. So just unravel that there, and that's how you get the beginning. So I just wanted to show you that, because I know the first time I was trying to open these rolls of tape, I had my teeth and all out of trying to open it. And again, if you get your 20 gauge wires like this, just cut the sellotape off them, and then you can just place them in a container. I'm using a 12-inch wire, like a long wire, because for the flower crowns you need it. That's kind of like a 10-inch one, and there's the 12-inch one. So the longer wires will be better. So the first thing I need to show you is how to actually gut a tape. So with the gutta tape, some of you know how to do this, so you can go make a cup of tea. But with the gutta tape, there's no back and front to it, so there's no right or wrong side of it. And it's the heat of your hand makes it sticky and stretchy. And I will turn around and say, like, there's no right or wrong way of doing this. Everybody does get their own little knack in doing it. But because I'm right-handed, I normally keep my right hand on top and I keep my left hand underneath. So the best thing to do is get two wires together, side by side, and place them. And then get your gutta tape and start it at the top. Now I'm going to do this 2 or 3 times just so that you can catch it. With your right hand, because my strong hand is my right hand, I'm going to tuck the tape around the top. I'm going to kind of press it together, and the heat of my fingers and my thumb kind of like to heat it up. And then what I'm going to do is kind of like roll the wire, stretch, roll the wire, stretch, roll the wire, stretch. So what I'm doing is I'm stretching the tape down the wire, and my right hand, is the stronger one, is rolling the wire and kind of like chasing it. So it's important that you don't have one hand up here and one hand down low. Keep the two hands moving down the wire all the time. And when you get to the very end, you just snap the tape, like break it with your fingers, and that's your wire ready to go. So I'm going to do that again 2 or 3 times. Have you any questions there, Ben?
Well, we have a few people tuning in from around the world.
Okay, give us a brief.
So we've got Angela all the way from New Jersey.
Hiya Angela, welcome to Case Flower School here in Dublin.
We have Anne-Marie all the way from Belfast.
Hiya Anne-Marie, welcome to the page.
We have Elaine from Derry.
Hiya Elaine, welcome. We're getting a lot of Northerners.
Glenda says your hair is looking great.
Oh, do you like the fringe, Glenda? I gave myself my own haircut there last night, girls. The fringe was driving me mad. Now, to be honest, I could probably do another little bit off it. But I got the flower scissors. I won't do it here now. I haven't got a mirror. But I got the flower scissors at it last night, and I kept going along and taking another little bit and another little bit. And at least I got it up out my eyes. But I think I might get the scissors at it again tonight. So I'm just going to go back over the gutta tape, and again, if you have any questions, keep commenting below, and I'll get Ben to keep an eye on them. So again, with the gutta tape, there's no back and front to it. Hopefully Ben is tuning in here that you can see now. I'll get him to come in close to the camera. There's no back and front to the gutta tape. You get your gutta tape, you catch it around the top of the wire there. I normally start it off slightly on an angle. With my right hand, finger and thumbs there, I just kind of catch the tape around it, warm it up with my fingers, and with my left hand, I'm pulling the tape. So my strong hand rolls, my weaker hand pulls. Roll, pull, roll, pull. And when I say pull, it's like you're stretching the tape down the wire. And when I'm rolling, my hand, as you can see, is chasing the wire all the way down, and when I get to the very end there with the tape, don't cut it with your scissors, break it with your fingers. You can see there it's stuck to my finger there, ready to go, and that's it done. Now for this flower crown, you'll only need one of these, but I prefer if you practice it, so just to kind of get a hang of it. So again, I'm just going to do the last one, 2 wires together at the same time, catch your gutta tape around the top, warm it up with your finger and your thumb, no back and front. And again, it's stretch, roll, stretch, roll, stretch, roll. And keep your fingers chasing down the wire all the time. If by accident you break the tape because you pull it too hard, that's actually a great sign. So if that happens, just join it back up again, catch your finger around, and off you go. Stretch and roll till you get to the very end, break off your tape, and that's your hairband done. So whether we're going to do a flower crown headband or a foliage crown, as we're going to do today, you'll need like this template. Now what I'm going to do on either end is I'm going to bend over the wire approximately 1 and a bit centimetres, less than 2 centimetres. So hopefully you can see that. I am on Instagram and Facebook. Ben has been a little bit ambitious today, so he has me logged into both. So I bent over about less than an inch, just over a centimetre on that end, and the same on the opposite end. So again, less than an inch, a little bit more than a centimetre, just bend over your wire. So 2 hooks on either end, but don't close over the hook completely. Next thing then is you get your florist ribbon. So remember, whoever wins this today, I'm going to send you out about 3 metres of the ribbon, okay? And you'll need approximately that length. I'd say, what would we call it, 24 inches less. You know, that 20 inches will be loads. So cut your strip of ribbon. So it means you're going to have plenty of sundries for making lots and lots of these flower crowns. The kids will love them. Get the kids involved with making them as well. Now this ribbon tears really easy. I've nice long nails at the moment. They're false nails, by the way, but you know what I mean. But you don't need nails. Just get your fingers, tops of your fingers or your nails, kind of slice it through the ribbon, and it just tears off really easy. And when I'm telling the students about tearing the ribbon, I always say tear from the centre. Don't start at the top and tear down, which sometimes you kind of feel that's the easiest thing to do. There's a chance the ribbon can go crooked if you do it that way. So just pierce your fingers or your nails through the ribbon near the centre, and it just tears really easy. Now you'll only need, I'm after tearing that into 4 strips. You'll only need 2 of the strips. And these are going to be tied on both ends of that template wire that I made. So, do you see where I have that little hook? Hopefully you can see that now on the camera. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hook the ribbon in through the little hook. I'm going to close over the hook now. So I'll just bring that close, and I'm going to tie a double knot. So while I'm tying the double knot then, any more questions there or any comments or?
We have no questions too much, but we have a lot of people tuning in.
Okay, so
we have Irene all the way from Uruguay.
Oh, very nice. Hey, Irene, I think you were on last night as well, or yesterday morning actually was when I was doing the turntables. Fair play to you and welcome to join us here in Ireland. By the way, I'm just going to the other end of the hook and I'm going to tie the second strip of ribbon in through there. Go on, off you go, Ben.
We have Cathy all the way from windy Spain.
Oh, windy, nice and windy in Spain. Oh, that's a disappointment. Normally you get the nice weather, but welcome, Cathy.
And Miriam is saying it's all sunny all the way in Galway.
Nice and sunny in Galway. Oh, she's getting the good weather over the west there, aren't you? She deserve it. So there's my ribbon tied on either end, and I'm just going to trim them shorter bits of ribbon, just a little bit shorter. Don't cut them off completely. Now remember, I'm going to be looking for you to share this video. There's no point in me coming on doing free online courses if you're not going to share, okay? So this is how we're going to work. And what I'm going to do there now is I'm just going to close over that little bit of ribbon. I'm going to get the gutta tape, and I'm now going to kind of tape over the little hook, like close it over, tape over, and I'm taping in that little bit of ribbon that I left, that raw end. So I'm just going to tape over that. There you go. I'm going to break the tape. I'm going to go over a second time, and then I'm going to break the tape, and then I'm going to go over a third time. Now talk about to be sure, to be feckin' well sure. So that our ribbon is caught nice and tight at that end, and when you're tying it onto the person's head, that it's not going to unravel, it's not going to undo the knot, and that's why I've taped over it 3 times. And the same on the other end. So you can see there, I've closed over the hook, so hopefully you can go in there close. I've closed over the hook. I'm going to flatten down that little spare bit of ribbon, and then with the gutta tape, I'm going to tape over it 3 times. So Ben has a question there.
So we have a question in here from Anne-Marie, and she would like to know, can you tie it at the end?
No, you won't be able to tie it at the end, Anne-Marie. You'll see why now for the next stage. So no, you need to do this in advance. So when I send you out your kits, or anybody that has ordered the kits, and going over this 3 times again, is start practicing the wiring and the taping like I showed you. So make a couple of these templates. So every one of these is going to make a flare crown at some stage. And then bend over the hook at either end, tie on the bits of ribbon, and then seal it in with your gutta tape. So have all this part done in advance. So there's one like I done earlier on. So have all that part done in advance. You won't be able to tie the ribbon on later on. It's not going to work. So it means then when you're practicing your taping, they're not going to go to waste. You can make all your hair bands. Next thing then is go out to the garden. So go out to your garden, and what I want you to do is get single ivy leaves. Now, like everywhere you can get ivy leaves. They don't have to be this gold trimmed ivy leaf that I have here. Any ivy leaves, like bigger ones, plain green ones, wild ones, whatever. So get yourself lots and lots of ivy leaves. And what I would recommend you to do is when you get your ivy leaves, dip them down in water, leave them for about a half an hour or an hour, take them out, and then if you just put them on damp tissue paper or a kitchen towel or something like that, just to kind of like absorb any of the moisture. A little hint for you, if you want to collect your ivy leaves the day before, so just anybody that's watching and maybe is not going to order the kit later on, and then so they won't have their wires and tape till tomorrow, what you could do today is go out and get all your ivy leaves today, dip them in water for about a half an hour to an hour, take them out, and you know them plastic Tupperware boxes that you could use for storing food in. Layer with kitchen towel, Put a layer of leaves in, more kitchen towel, a layer of leaves, more kitchen towel, layer of leaves, more kitchen towel, as many as you want. Put your Tupperware lid back on and stick it in the fridge. You'll be amazed how much moisture the leaves take in the fridge, and also with the layers of like damp kitchen towel. And then the following day, so tomorrow, hopefully the postman will arrive with your wires and your gutted tape and your ribbon and you're ready to start. Open up your Tupperware box and you'll have all your leaves ready to go. Now this is where you're going to need the silver wire. So just before I start, any questions there, Ben?
So I'd just like to welcome Amanda all the way from sunny Essex.
Hiya Amanda, how are you? Welcome to us here.
Kathleen all the way from Wexford.
Hiya Kathleen.
Darlene from Pennsylvania.
Hiya Darlene, I've seen your name popping up a few times, you're very welcome.
And Elaine from Coventry.
Oh, sure, we have them from all over. Welcome Elaine. So our next stage now is using the silver wire, and in the florist trade we call this stitching. Now I will come in close to the camera in a little while there, and maybe Ben you can watch there just to come in close. But I'm calling that the front of the leaf and the back of the leaf. So at the back of the leaf, on the middle vein, like on the rib, what I'm going to do about halfway up the leaf is I'm going to do a little stitch. So I'm going to stick the silver wire in through one side of the rib, the little stain, and then just come out the opposite side. Now I'm just going to turn that around to you, push the wire halfway through. I'm going to turn it around to you, and hopefully Ben you're able to get that in there on the camera. It's on Instagram and on Facebook. So that's what we call a stitch. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my thumb on the stitch, and then with my other hand I'm going to bend down the two silver wires at the same time. And can you see the way I'm straightening the stem of the ivy leaf, catching it in there with the silver wire. I'm going to do this 2 or 3 times, by the way. And then I'm going to grip one of the silver wires and I'm going to wrap it around the other silver wire and around the stem of the ivy leaf as well. I'm going to do that a second time, okay? So take up your ivy leaf, and it's at the back of the ivy leaf. You're going to get your silver wire, and approximately halfway up, okay, so halfway up the back of the leaf, which is about there, right, we're going to do a little stitch. So go in one side of the centre vein and out the opposite side. Sorry, I have to look at it when I'm doing it, and push the silver wire in approximately halfway. So that's it there, hopefully you can see it. Place your finger on the stitch and pull down the two silver wires at the same time and kind of grip it in around the stem of the ivy leaf. So when you're gathering up the ivy leaves from the garden, make sure that you have the little stem on the end of them. Pinch it together with your finger and then grab one piece of silver wire and wrap it around the other silver wire and the stem at the same time. So you're going to do that to all your ivy leaves. Now what you can also do is, when I was gathering up the ivy leaves, I also kind of got like little clumps. Do you see these little clumps, the little baby ones? So you can see there I have a couple of them. So what I'm going to do to them, don't wire them leaves individually, you'd be gone barmy you would, like as in mad, anybody that's watching, because sometimes I use Irish words and you say, what you talking about? So what I'm going to do with these is, on the end of that stem, is I'm just going to catch the silver wire approximately halfway. So I'll just do it here at the back. Sorry, the fingers and the nails are going to get in the way. I'm going to bend the wire in half. To be honest, you could do that first, okay? You could do that little bend first. So halfway down the silver wire. Place it onto the stem at the end. And again, just grab one piece of the silver wire and wrap it around the other. And again, you're leaving the 2 bits of wire sticking out. I'm going to do that again. I know that's close detail and it is hard to see. And normally when we're doing this as for our online school, like we kind of like do it close up, but Ben's not as good on the camera as Deirdre, so I'm doing the best I can. Sorry, Ben, you're doing your best. So we have our little clump of leaves, okay? Squeeze in the ends. Then you get your silver wire, and you're going to catch your silver wire halfway, and you're going to bend it over in half. Pinch it together, grab one of the silver wires and wrap it around the other. So you have 2 pieces of silver wire. Don't worry that they're not the same length, and it's caught around the end of it. So the clumps of ivy leaves, that's the best way to do them. The single individual ivy leaves, and to be honest, this could be done with little laurel leaves as well. You're better off like stitching them at the back like I showed you in the previous clip. And also when I was coming over to work this morning, there's like a wild planter box, not a wild planter box, but a planter at the end of the little cul-de-sac where I live, and there was some lavender growing in it. So what I did was, sort of fell into my handbag, so you know me when I'm walking along anywhere. So I snipped a few little bits of it there, and I pulled off the leaves that was at the end of the stem, so the stem was nice and clean. And then what I'm going to do is place 2 or 3 of the little bits of lavender together in your hand. So there you have, say 2 or 3 little bits of lavender. And I'm going to use the same technique that I did with the little clumps of ivy. I'm going to get a silver wire, halfway, halfway, I'm going to catch it there. I'm going to bend over the 2 pieces of silver wire, and then I'm going to wrap the silver wire, one of the pieces of silver wire, around the stem of the lavender and around the other silver wire at the same time. I'll do that again. So little bits of lavender. Now again, this can be any little bits and pieces that you have grown in your garden or someone else's garden. Make sure there's no leaves at the end, that's nice and clean. Silver wire, get your silver wire halfway, bend it over. So we often call this a 2-legged mount because you have 2 little legs. And then grab one leg of the silver wire, wrap it around the stem of the lavender and around the other piece of silver wire at the same time. But you end up with 2 little bits of wire sticking out, and don't worry that one is longer than the other. So hopefully you've got all that. You may need to go back afterwards. You can't go back now because it's live, right? But when this is finished, you can always go back and you can re-watch it again, because what I'll do is I'll pin it to the top of the page. Now what I'm going to do is, using my gutted tape, is I'm going to seal in all the ends, because the gutted tape is great for sealing in moisture. I always describe gutted tape to the students like a plaster or a band-aid, right? So you know, if you cut yourself and you put a plaster on it, basically then, instead of bleeding to death, is the plaster seals up the wound and you heal up. Well, kind of think of your flowers and your greenery being the same way. So instead of them bleeding to death, you're going to get your plaster, but you're using that same technique I showed you earlier on. Is I'm rolling the gutted tape, I've just broken one of my lavenders there, I'm rolling the gutted tape around the stem of the lavender and the silver wire all at the same time. So again, can you see the way the stem is nice and tidy and nice and neat? So I'll take up the other one there that I did, if I can find it. Here we go. So there's again the other little stem of lavender. I'm going to catch the gutted tape around it, and again roll and pull, roll and pull, roll and pull. It's a little bit more delicate and finicky than the previous ones when I was just showing you how to tape the wires. But even the ivy leaves, so the individual ivy leaves that I showed you how to stitch, again you can get your gutted tape, and again you can seal the end of them. Now remember I was saying about picking these leaves the day before. Now I know most of you probably haven't got silver wires at home to be able to do this until I post them out to you. But you would be able to seal them up with the gutted tape and stick them in the fridge in the little hydrating box, like the Tupperware box that I mentioned. So again, I'm doing the same thing, just my gutted tape is catching there. There we go, we're off, and around we go. So I'm sealing in the end of the stems of all them little individual leaves. You don't have to go to the end of every bit of silver wire, by the way. And then I'm going on to the little clumps of ivy leaves, and I'm going to do exactly the same thing. So again, that roll and pull technique. So again, Ben, have you any questions? Now again, anybody watching, remember I want you to share, keep sharing these videos, or I'll go on strike here and I won't be doing that anymore with you. So have you anybody watching there, Ben, or any questions?
We have no questions coming in. However, we've got a lot of thankful fans for my videography.
So they're saying you're doing a good job, right?
Yeah,
but fair play to you. So will we sack Deirdre, will we?
I think so, I think so.
And we won't sack her yet. Okay, I did promise I'm going to have a giveaway. So the giveaway is where I'm going to give away a bunch of 20 gauge wires, a bunch of silver wires, and 3 meters of the florist ribbon, and a full roll of the gutted tape. So it means you'll have the makings of nearly 10 flower crowns, like maybe even more. You'll have loads of them anyway. And the question is going to be, so remember earlier on I said Deirdre was 4 years over chemo today, but I also said that it was going to be her birthday on Saturday. So all you have to tell me is, how old will Deirdre be on Saturday? So what age will Deirdre be on Saturday? I can only run this on Facebook, by the way, so anybody on Instagram, you'll need to pop over. And remember, this is a live video, so it's, I don't know what time it is, that clock is wrong anyway. It's about 2:30 here today, Monday, the 20th of April. So just in case anybody's watching at a later stage, too late to enter the competition. And I'm going to give it as the 10th answer. It's the fairest way to do it. And it gives Ben a chance then to count them up. So enter as many times as you want. It'll take a while. I'll come back to you. So the 10th answer is, what age will Deirdre be on Saturday? And I'm going to post out the kit there that you can get making your flower crowns. So while yous are all starting there, and don't miss the beginning part of how I'm going to do the flower crown. we're back to our template. So we have our template, and I have a lot of these single ivy leaves. You see, we have them all wired and taped up in advance. It's a bit like Blue Peter. We have some in the oven already. I have all my little clumps of ivy leaves, and again, I have these wired and taped already. And I also have all that lavender that I nicked this morning. I have all that wired and taped. So I'm ready to go, ready to start. So your very first bit of material, so it's going to be an ivy leaf in my case today. Ignore the ribbon, okay? You can't obviously tape onto the ribbon. Everything gets taped onto the wire. So my first leaf, I'm going to start it here at the top of the wire, but you can see there the way I'm letting it stick it over the ribbon. So Ben, hopefully you're able to see this. Tell me if I needed to move it one way or the other. So I'm positioning the leaf that it's up over the top of the ribbon, and the two wires are kind of placed together. Now I find it easier to work with a piece of tape, right? So just break yourself off a piece of tape there, and then get yourself up close to that first leaf there where you have it positioned. Get your gutted tape, and then you're going to tape it. Now that piece of ribbon is going to drive you mad for the first couple of pieces, okay? So just kind of, as you kind of like roll around, as you can see there, it rolls itself, just push it out of the way. You have a question for me, Ben?
We have 2 questions coming in.
Okay, go on.
So Jane is wondering, can she order silver wires off Case Good of Flowers?
The way I'm going to do it is I have a kit on the online school. So the best, no, not on the online school, sorry, on the website. So go to the website, flowerschoolireland.com, click on the menu button, scroll down till you see floral sundries, and I have a little kit for making flower crowns, and in the kit will be the 20 gauge wires, the silver wires, the gutted tape and the ribbon, and I think it's €20 including postage. So if anybody orders them today, I'll have them in the post for you tomorrow, and you'll have it hopefully by tomorrow, next day, depending on where you live. But also anybody that has already ordered the kits that I showed you this morning with the bulb bowls and the anchor tapes and the ribbons and the posy dishes and the shovels and the frog's legs and all the other stuff, I've already included all that material in it, so you'll have it already. You won't have to worry about it. And the next question?
And Angela is wondering, what gauge is the silver wire?
You can either get a 26 or a 28. I'm using a 26, Angela, but 28 is fine. So whichever one you happen to have is fine.
And then Liz is wondering, can you use a satin ribbon? You
could. A satin ribbon would be perfect. I was just thinking a lot of people working at home probably wouldn't have satin ribbon, and because you need that narrow one, and that's why I'm suggesting using the florist ribbon. But absolutely, if you have the satin ribbon, if I was doing weddings or Debs or that, I would definitely use the satin ribbon. I'm just trying to keep things really simple here today. Yeah, so that's everybody. Okay, so what I'm then going to do is I'm going to add in a little bunch of the lavender, and I'm just going to place it. You see that I'm going to place it on top of the ivy leaf, and again with the same piece of gutted tape that's still attached, I'm now going to wrap that around. Now when you're wrapping it around, kind of think of it as being like a bandage that you're kind of wrapping around, but try and pull it real tight, because as I said with that gutted tape, it doesn't get sticky till you stretch it, and it's the heat of your hand makes it stretchy. So then just underneath that lavender, I'm going to stand up for this, thing to be easier rather than be sitting up and getting up and down all the time. I'm now going to add in a little clump of the ivy leaves to slightly to one side. And as you can see, it's slightly overlapping the lavender. Now that's up to you. You can make this as chunky or as skimpy as you want. And then I'm coming down a tiny little bit, and I'm now going to add in another of the single ivy leaves, and again it's out to one side. Now don't worry if you think, oh God, that's going to hide that little bit of lavender, because there's a silver wire in it, and that's the whole reason why we stitch all these, is I am then able to move that leaf, get over there, get back in there, come forward, come back. And that's the idea of the silver wire, is that you can move your material around. And especially if you were doing this for a wedding and the bride or whoever brought it to the hairdressers, the hairdresser, when she does up the person's hair, hopefully she does a better job on the fringe than me, she'll be able to maneuver the leaves and the flowers and the material and position them exactly where they want them. So when I'm at this stage, what I'm now going to do is I'm going to wrap that ribbon in through there a couple of times. Get in through there, right? So I'm going to wrap that around there a couple of times, and I'm just going to loop it through itself, and that's just to basically keep it out of my way, and then I can just flatten that leaf. Do you see back down there again? Now am I on camera there, Ben? Just sorry, I've moved around and hopefully I'm okay, am I? Right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in another little clump of the ivy leaves. maybe to the opposite side. Now again, there's no like pattern as in will I go to the right, will I go to the left. I'm looking at it and saying I think a little bit of lavender may be positioned to my left as I look at it. That would be nice in there. And then maybe another big leaf maybe to my left as I look at it. And again, you can see the way I'm slightly overlapping them because I want this to kind of be chunky. And sure, anyway, it's costing me nothing to make. This is all free material. And even though I know you have to buy the little kit, remember you have the makings of you know what I mean, 8 to 10 flower crowns out of the kit. So again, I'm going to add in another little bit of lavender to see over to that side, catch it in. So I'm still on that same piece of gutter tape that I originally started with. And again, another single ivy leaf. Now again, you can bring your ivy leaf in from the back as well or from the front. It's completely up to yourself. So again, I'm just kind of catching that around there. And then another little bit of lavender over to either my right or the left. I'm looking at it now. It's a bit awkward for me to hold. And normally when I'm doing this for the online courses, I do it on the table and they're just kind of coming down on top of me there that you can see it. But hopefully you can start to see that effect, can you? Is that working out in the camera there for us, Ben, there? Can you see it? Grand. So then a little bit of lavender always giving me the thumbs up, he is. So don't forget to keep clicking share, girls and boys, because I know we get a lot of boys following us. Alan Kinslett normally is watching. Has he been on today, Ben? Hasn't been commenting so far, has he? Right. No, normally maybe he's working today. When you start running out of the gutter tape, you can just add in another piece. So don't be panicking. So I'm just adding in another little bit of lavender there coming down. So again, I'll just hold that up there close that you can see what it's turning out like. And just again, I'm just making sure that we can see it on Instagram and on the Facebook pages. And that's what it looks like at the back. Now ignore the ribbon. The ribbon will be kind of pulled out straighter in a few minutes. So now I'm just going to break myself off another piece of the gutter tape. And I'm going to continue on. So while I'm adding in a few little leaves, Ben might come back to me there with a few little questions. How's the comments coming along for the competition, Ben? Are they getting the right answer?
Well, they've got the right answer and somebody has been declared as the winner.
All right, okay, so the winner already, God, that was quick. Okay, so who's the winner?
So the winner of the competition is Kathleen Wright.
Kathleen Wright with a W, is it W-R-I-G-H-T? And you don't know where she's from, you?
Nope.
Okay, so Kathleen, if you're watching, you're our winner. So how old is Deirdre going to be on Saturday?
Deirdre's going to be 50 years of age.
Big 50 on Saturday, imagine. Oh my, imagine being that old. So, Kathleen, you're our winner. So if you could message me with your address, as soon as you can do it, I can get that kit out in the post to you today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post out the 20 gauge wires, the silver wires, the roll of gutter tape and the florist ribbon, so you'll be able to get stuck into your flower crowns tomorrow. And so in the meantime, Kathleen, go out to the garden, start picking the ivy leaves, little bits of lavender. And do you know what I picked? I forgot to show you, so I forgot to use it, it's too late now. I picked up little bits of hebe this morning as well. I had this growing myself in the garden and I just cleaned the end of the stem, and what I was planning on doing was adding in, I'm going to add it in now, I should have added it in at the beginning, right? But I just kind of planned on adding in little bits of hebe as I went along, and I wasn't silver wiring that, I was just kind of making sure that the gutter tape was tight enough around the end of the stem, and again it would seal it off and it would hold it in place. I'll just hold that upside down just so that you can see what it's looking like. Now, if you had shorter wires, or if you were doing this for a kid, you could cut the wire shorter. Remember I said I'm posting out to you the 12-inch wire, right? So the 12-inch wire would kind of, can make it long enough. But if you want to make it shorter, just cut a little bit off the end of the 12-inch and make it a 10-inch or an 11-inch, whatever you want. Now, when you're adding in the leaves, you can come in from the back as well. You don't always have to come in from the front. You can also come in sideways with it. Like there's no particular pattern for adding in, because as I said, because there's a silver wire on them, you can maneuver them around to sit whatever way you want. So I could probably do with another little bit of the lavender, Ben. Would you get me another little bit in the bucket, and I can wire it up there, I can. Mm-hmm. So it might be inside in the bucket, so worry if the I just actually see another little bit here I have. Okay, I'll have to see. Do you know what? I have a bit there that's not silver wired, and I'm just going to cheat and kind of add it in on its own. Just, there we go, that will get away, because I'm just at the end here. So again, another few little ivy leaves. Ben is looking at the bucket and he's saying, what in the name of God does she want me to get? And that's the thing about live, you know, that way, if you run short. Now somebody's going to email me and say to me, how many ivy leaves did I use? Go back to the very beginning of the video, watch it and count it as I'm making it, because I haven't a fecking clue how many. But I've loads of them, I've absolutely loads of ivy leaves wired up. Just got stuck in this morning, and you know yourself, once you get stuck in, you'll be flying. So keep going, adding in your little bits of ivy, clumps of ivy, single ivy leaves. Excuse me. I'm just going to cut up these small little bits and just make smaller little pieces out of them. So when you're doing the lavender, is remove the leaf at the end, so you have a nice clean stem. That's important. Get a silver wire. So again, anybody that's joining up, I done all this at the very beginning. So it's half the silver wire bent over, and then one little piece of silver wire wrapped around the stem and the other silver wire at the same time. Again, remove the leaves because that keeps your stems nice and clean. And again, I'm just wiring up that second one. And then what I did was I put a little bit of gutter tape around the end of them to seal them. And the advantage of the silver wire, it's for manoeuvring them. You can maneuver them whatever way you want them to go, but also it seals them, and you get a nice, keeps your flower crown that little bit fresher, because your material then is sealed in and it seals in any of the moisture. So I'm just at the end here now, just add in them last few little bits of lavender. And when you get near the end, you can be trimming off, just kind of to show you there, that's where I'm at the end there. I have a few like little silver wires sticking out, is you can trim off them, you see, as you go along. And that'll help to keep it narrow. But that's why we don't use the 20 gauge wires for wiring up the material. We're just using the silver wires, and it keeps it nice and light. Off you go, Ben. Have you a question there for me?
So we've one question and one comment that's standing out.
Okay.
So Liz Mulvey is asking, how far can you make this ahead of time?
I normally would make it the day before, to be honest, you know, that way. Like the day before is absolutely fine. With foliage, it is going to last that little bit longer, and especially if you kept it in the fridge. So if you made it maybe 2 days beforehand, and you maybe sprayed it with water, but if you had Chrysal Glory, which is something that we use in the flower shops, it would be even better. And if you then maybe covered it in cling film plastic bags, cellophane, whatever, kept it in your fridge, you'd probably make it up 2 days beforehand. But normally for events, I would make them up the day beforehand. And that would be with fresh flowers as well. I'd make them up. So I'm just at my last leaf. Have you another question there, Ben?
Well, then Geraldine Howie said that she's loving the tutorials and is going to go out to the garden later and cut some ivy leaves, and we'll make her own.
Ah, that's brilliant. Fair play to you. And listen, don't forget to post photographs. Like I'm going to post photographs on this page here is absolutely fine, work away. But the Flowery Fun group, when you post all your photographs in the Flowery Fun group, it means all the other members of the Flowery Fun group gets to see them. And that's what I love about the Flowery Fun group. It's not commercial. It's not professional. Anybody can post the materials. There's no giving out. There's no moaning. There's no... If anybody has any criticising to do, it'll be me. And I never criticise anybody. So like that's what I love about it. You'll make new friends. The link is at the top of this page to join the Flowery Fun group. I was actually looking at it today, and I says, God, we're actually up to, I think, 1,100 or nearly up to 1,100 people have joined the Flowery Fun group, which is absolutely brilliant, you know, that way. Myself and Deirdre to have a bit crack then, answering all your comments. So I'm just at the end. I ran a bit short at the lavender, so you have to excuse me for that, right? So I'm just taping in the raw ends, okay? And some of you might be wondering, how's she going to finish off the end, right? What I'm now going to do is, do you see the silver wires that have, or sorry, the ivy leaves with the silver wires? Do you see the way I'm able to bend them back on an angle, and that way then I'm going to get what we call the return on the other end. So again, another reason why you use the silver wires. The silver wires are brilliant for this. So I'm able to just twist the ivy leaves around, a little bit of twisting, bring these ones a little bit forward, and I'm just a bit short on lavender on that end, but I just ran short, and that's the thing about live cameras, you just don't know. And Ben is a little bit, he's trying to watch the cameras. He's trying to watch the comments coming in, and so Jamie Mackey couldn't find the lavender, so we won't give out to him. So now what I'm going to do is I'm using the top of my knee here, and I'm going to bend it over. I'm not sure if you can see this, but I'm just kind of bending it over in half, and then you can kind of go along, give it a little bit of a tease, and you see the way you can get your little shape there. Now I know I'm wearing a hairband today, so I'll take my hairband out. Hold on, fluff the hair up a little bit. And I'm not going to have anybody to tie this, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to tie it myself. But this is how your flower crown sits on. What do I look like, Ben? Am I okay? Oh, here, Ben's going to come round and he's going to tie the knot on me, okay? So normally when I'm getting flare crowns, there's my good looking son there. What do you think about him? Isn't he lovely? So I'm going to hold this in my hand. He's probably mortar there at the back. Now when you tie the knot there first, Ben, pull the knot real tight. You tell me when you pull the knot real tight. Mm-hmm. Tighter than that. Tight. Real tight. Go on, squeeze your mummy's head. Now I'm going to put my finger in the middle of the knot. He's now going to tie a bow. Don't know how he is on tying bows.
Not too bad.
Okay, so tie the bow there. Fair play to you.
There we go.
And then get me to slip my finger out. There you go. Get it real tight. There we go. Grand. And there's my flare crown. So what do I look like?
Perfect.
Am I gorgeous?
Wonderful.
So there's the flare crown. So this flare crown has cost me absolutely nothing to make. Time, effort, okay, and obviously the wires. But you can see there the amount of wires that I was used. It was harmless, it was, and it cost you very little. As I said, if you did purchase the kit to make the flare crowns, or if you did purchase the kit with all the other materials involved, like you'll be able to make a lot of the online arrangements that I've been showing over the past few days. So, have you any more questions before we finish off? How long did that take? It didn't take me that long. I suppose 50 minutes. Thereabout. I did say it was going to take a little bit of time. Now again, anybody that's late joining in, you can always, when I post this, you'll be able to go back and watch it from the very beginning. And any questions at all, just comment below and I'm going to answer all the questions later on. Now again, one more big favour, please share the video. And give me the thumbs up, share lots of love. And Kathleen Wright, don't forget to send me a PM with your address and I'm going to post you out your makings of your flare crowns. I'm going to post them out. And anybody else that's interested, you'll be able to go to the website, flowerschoolisland.com, and you'll be able to order your own kit. And again, if you order them before 4 o'clock this evening, I'll get them posted out as well. Ben's catching me attention. More questions?
So we have a few questions.
Okay.
So Aileen is wondering, would you do one with GYP?
Jip, that's Jip Ben. GYP. Absolutely. And you know what? I've Jip coming in on Tuesday night, I have. So what I'll do, and again, if you all have your materials beforehand, is maybe towards the end of the week, maybe Friday, I'll do a Jip flare headdress with you. Really easy to do, and you'll need the same materials as well. So I'll get back to that one.
Nicola is asking, can I buy some sundries from you?
Well, the sundries that we're selling is the kit. So it's either the starter kit, which I can't remember exactly, but it's on the website. There's a full itemised list. So it has frog's legs, anchor tape, candle holder, joinets, gutter tape, 20 gauge wires, 22 gauge wires, silver wires, ribbon, posy dishes, shovels, spray trays, and blocks of Oasis, stem stripper. There's a few extra things. That's all in the starter kit. It's €45 plus postage and package, and you get it on the website. So just go to the Floral Sundries page on the website and you'll get that, Nicole.
Liz Mulvey is asking, are you taking orders for turntables?
The turntables, I'm out of stock with them at the moment. Who was it, Mary, was it? Liz. But I'm expecting them in about 2 weeks or so, Liz. So follow me on the free on the lives, and I'll announce when they're back in stock again. So that's kind of the handiest thing to do. I don't have a facility for pre-ordering on the site, so just hang on until I have them back in stock again. I'll advertise it and then you can order them. All the ones that ordered them yesterday, loads of people ordered them yesterday, they're all gone in the post. They're gone. Ben done all the post this morning. You would have seen a photograph earlier on. I posted of them heading to the post office with all the kits and all the turntables. Anything else?
Margaret is wondering, Ben, does your mother ever stop talking?
Is that Margaret Mitchell?
No, Margaret Huddleston.
Oh no, I never stop talking. When we go on holidays, my husband just say, Jesus, Jeanette, don't start talking to the person beside you on the sunbed, because that's it, I'm off. No, I never stop talking.
And Sheila Flynn is asking, can you do a wrist corsage using the same technique?
You could, just cut the wire much shorter. So you know the flare crown I showed you earlier on, the template, okay, I'm just going to bend and buckle this wire. So if you just cut the wire shorter, but use the exact same technique, so it would turn out about that size there, and then again you could curve it onto the wrist and tie the ribbon around the other side. Absolutely same technique, yeah? And that's actually a brilliant idea. And that was something, what did somebody tell me this morning? Oh, this morning I was talking about the kids. I'm going to take this off. It's pushing me fringe down in my face, and the fringe is still a little bit long. Somebody this morning mentioned about the floral foam, about do we not use the biodegradable floral foam, and We do at the school sometimes use the biodegradable foam, but the only thing about the biodegradable foam, it's only biodegradable if placed in a biodegradable landfill site. And at the moment in Ireland, we don't have a biodegradable landfill site. So the thing is, when we go to the wholesalers, we're paying about €6 or €7 extra for a box of biodegradable. And to be honest, it's pointless because it's going in the same landfill as our normal floral foam. But a girl called Steph, I can't remember where she was from, it was the UK anyway. She had a great suggestion, and it was something I'd done myself in the past, but I'd forgotten about it. She was saying with her old floral foam, what she does is she scrunches it up and she places it into her hanging baskets and her flower boxes, and what it does is it holds the moisture and stops it drying out. So that's actually a great way of reusing them, is use it up in your hanging baskets. So great suggestion, Steph, thanks a million for that. Again, if anybody else has any other top tips, great tips, definitely comment below. I'm always saying to the students, you're always learning, you never know it all. And today anybody thinks they know it all, give it up, because I don't know it all. I think I do, but I don't know it all. I better shut up or Margaret will be giving out that I never shut up. So that's the end of it, is it, Ben? All the questions. Right, so anybody else that has any questions, just place them all in the comments below. One more reminder before I go, please click share. So click share, get my online videos out, and I'm going to come live again during the week. Not sure what day, but I'll give you plenty of notice to let you know, and I'll definitely probably do the jip headdress switches. So good luck, goodbye, have a great day everybody, and talk soon.